Good afternoon, folks. CombatCounselor here, and I'd like to welcome you to Body, Mind, Behavior Basic Training. And today I'm going to talk about cognitive confusion. Okay? Some people call it cognitive fusion or cognitive defusion, but I'm going to refer to it as cognitive confusion because what happens is we get all tied up with these thoughts in our head. And I'm in my CombatCounselor POV, so we got the POV cam here going, so excuse me if I pay attention to the road here every once in a while. But basically what happens is we have thoughts all the time, and those thoughts are sometimes good thoughts and helpful thoughts, but many times they're just bizarre thoughts and random thoughts and worrying about the past, ruminating about what happened to us and how we're wronged and bullied, or whatever. Or we're worrying about the future, worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, worrying about things that are probably never going to happen. Okay? And so our mind talks to us all the time. So there's really two of us. There's me, and then there's my mind. Okay? And they're really two separate things, because my mind can say things to me, and I can either believe them or not believe them. Or I could either follow my mind's instructions or not follow my mind's instructions. So what you've been doing for all these years, and this is a different way of looking at it than you've ever looked at it before. You've got these problems, okay? You got all these problems, right? And so you got anxiety, and you got you got anger issues, and you've haven't done well in school, and you don't have a lot of money, and everybody's got problems. So you got this long list of problems. But you also have this long list of solutions. Things they're not really solutions because some of them worked. I mean, sometimes you can, if you don't have money, you can go get a job and get money. But for a lot of the psychological things that have been going on in your life, the anger and depression and anxiety and you name it, stress, you've been doing things for many years. Okay, and you've done many, many things and worked very hard at not being anxious or not being stressed or not being depressed. Okay, and you've worked really hard, and I'm not taking that away from you, but where the hell are you? I mean, you're in the same boat you were in a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. Maybe 30 years ago. And the reason is because you've been looking at it all the wrong way. You've been looking at your problems the wrong way. Okay, you're trying to solve problems in your mind, okay, by trying to control them. Okay, and control works very well in the real world. If you're cold, you turn on the heat. If it's dark, you turn on the light. If you want to make a lot of money, you go to college. So in the real world, you can control things to a certain extent. There's some things you can't control, obviously, but we do have a lot of control in the real world. Okay, but that world between our ears is a whole different story, and you can't control that. And research has proven that the more you try to control your mind, try to control your thoughts, the stronger those thoughts come back. Okay? So if you've got angry thoughts or sad thoughts or crazy thoughts or depressing thoughts or anxious thoughts or whatever, the more you try to make those thoughts go away, okay, the stronger they come back. That's where obsessive compulsive disorder comes from. These people have these really bizarre thoughts. I want to drown my kids. And it's just a thought, People have all kinds of strange thoughts. And so the problem with that is that they have this thought, I want to drown my kids. and their morals, who they are, says, my God, that's horrible. I can't think that. You know, I can't possibly let myself think something that horrible. I would never do that. And so they try to push these thoughts out of their mind, even though they're just crazy thoughts that just kind of come out of nowhere. And so A, they pay attention to them, all right? And B, they make them try to go away. So what happens is these thoughts come back stronger and stronger and stronger. And the stronger they come back, the more they try to make them go away. It's this vicious cycle, okay? And the brain's saying, well, you know, if you know, I'm not supposed to think about this thought, then it must be pretty important. So I'm going to make them think about it all that much more. And that's what happens. You get in this vicious cycle. Eventually, these people, that's all they can think about. Is this thought, you know, oh, I want to drown my kids in the bathtub, you know. They're never going to do it, okay, just because they think it. Their morals, they have the strength not to do it. In some cases, the people do not have the strength not to do it. And there are people that have drowned their kids in the bathtub, mothers, okay, because they didn't have the strength to resist those obsessions, all right? They didn't have the sense, or not the sense, you know, the strength, the resilience to fight those obsessive thoughts, okay? And it's the same thing with these folks that go postal and go into theaters and shoot people and kill people. They're not necessarily bad people, okay? They're bad. Their behavior is bad. There's no excuse for what they do, but they get these thoughts in their head, okay? And I have to shoot people. You know, I have to kill people. In order for me to be anything in life, you know, I have to go out and kill a bunch of people. It's crazy. They're crazy thoughts, but these people don't have the tools necessary to say, "Hey, time out. That's just a thought," and so I'm not going to follow through with it. So when we're talking about thoughts and your problems, okay, you've been looking at things the wrong way all these years, okay, and so you've got this cognitive confusion, all right. Some thoughts, yeah, I'm supposed to believe some thoughts, but there's other thoughts I'm not supposed to believe those. And that's the problem. That's the dilemma, okay? So that's why I call it cognitive confusion. I'm going to talk to you in upcoming weeks about a different way to look at things, okay? So what you should be feeling right now is hope. It is hopeless. And we call it creative hopelessness, in the sense that you're not hopeless and your situation's not hopeless, okay? But what you've been doing all these years to fight these problems, the anxiety, depression, the stress, etc., is hopeless, because you've been going about it all the wrong way. And psychiatrists and psychologists and licensed counselors and social workers have been doing it the wrong way for many years, okay? They want you to come in and talk about your thoughts and talk about your mother and your relationship, and they want you to you know, all kinds of, you know, change your thoughts, and even I did that up till several years ago. That hasn't worked. I mean, it works to a certain extent, but it really doesn't work. And we found that what works is changing the context, not changing the content of your thoughts, okay, but changing the context and how you look at those thoughts, okay? And that's what we're going to be talking about in upcoming weeks. So I've reached my destination, so it's time to sign off. So this has been Combat Counselor, and another episode of Body, Mind, Behavior, or BMB Basic Training. So thanks for listening. I hope that didn't confuse your cognition too much, but I'll explain more next week. So until then, Combat Counselor out.